Hi, today we're going to be talking about developing a hypothesis. So we are going to be talking about how do you go about figuring out what do I ask when I do a science experiment. So let's take a second to look here. Developing a hypothesis. Now I ask you what a hypothesis is, and I imagine maybe 80–90% of you already know it's an educated guess. If you're not familiar with this, write it down, make sure you have it, but it is an educated guess. That's not a wrong answer, but let's take a second to figure out what we really are meaning by that. When we say educated guess, many of you get the guess part 100% correct, but is it educated? What do we mean by being educated? I think we need to focus on that because that will make your science experiments more meaningful and make them make sense, which can be a problem. So here we go. We have petri dishes, and we want these and we are experimenting on where we want where there's bacteria or fungi. Well, if we just experiment on two random places because they're there, do I have any reason when I now say my hypothesis, I'm going to write this? I predict there will be more bacteria on chairs. Well, this is wrong for so many reasons. I'm going to start introducing a couple of those. One is I predict there'll be more bacteria on chairs. More than where? If we don't say more than where, this is a meaningless sentence. So if you're not making a comparison or you don't have some clear way of saying what you're trying to answer, then that is the first thing where you know your hypothesis is sorely lacking. The second thing that I'd like to focus in on here with I predict there will be more bacteria on chairs. Do you have any reason for that? That's the educated part. Educated means you have some reason to believe that what you're saying is actually true, not just because I needed to come up with a hypothesis. So here's the deal. I have to have a reason for thinking that. Now, what if you don't have any reason? You really don't know. Well, there's a couple things you can do. You can base it on previous experience. Some folks, when given the petri dishes, came up with a hypothesis such as, I think there's going to be more bacteria in the bathrooms in the commons than the bathrooms in the 700 hall because the bathroom in the commons is used by more people. That used by more people section is key. That's the education part. They have a reason for thinking that. That makes it a really good hypothesis. It's meaningful. It's comparing apples to apples. That is what we are going for. It has a reason for doing the experiment. It's everything we could want. But if I just say, I think there's going to be more bacteria on a chair, that obviously doesn't meet those standards.